Hey gangs, and welcome back to the Augustus Maximus channel and the world of Fallout 4. And this is going to be the last episode of our little Enclave adventure. Yes, playing America Rising, a Tale of the Enclave mod. And yeah, it's finally over. It's been a good ride, it's a really good mod, but we are about to assault the main base of the Brotherhood of Steel. And well, it's probably going to be mostly an FPS action focused mission. And that's all good. The sergeant here should, yeah, he's only going to basically teleport us there. But remember, if you actually enjoyed this little Enclave series, what you want to call it, like 5-episode series mostly, just a little bit of role playing, nothing too serious, because Fallout 4 doesn't really allow for a lot of role playing anyway, so the mod developers actually went about this in quite a good fashion. But if you really enjoyed it and you want to see more, do not fear, there are probably going to be many Enclave adventures and many Fallout adventures on this channel in the very near future. So make sure to like and subscribe and everything like that if you want to see more Enclave, more Fallout, everything like that. Or if you enjoy the sound of my wonderful voice. But here we go, we are about to assault, I guess what something like a forward base of the Brotherhood. There we go, using the Saiga automatic shotgun, going to absolutely tear through some of them, but obviously we're using, unfortunately, I forgot to switch ammo type, so we're using Dragon's Breath ammo, and that's not going to be extremely effective against, well, power armor. And here we go, here's the terminal. I think the good general talked about the anti-air placements, and that's the first one. We still have to disable the second one, which should be right up ahead. This sort of reminds me of a Medal of Honor Allied assault mission, where you're supposed to like infiltrate a German base. Not the stealth one, but the one where you're supposed to take out like AA emplacements. I clearly remember there being something like this, and you're all alone and you're supposed to just go through. I don't know, maybe I'm just making stuff up and just mixing and matching like Call of Duty 1 with Medal of Honor Allied Assault, and really these guys didn't hear all those shotgun blasts. Well, I suppose that's quite a surprise for them then, because, well, that didn't go too well. Maybe you should be, you know, when you're in sort of a listening post, maybe you should actually do some listening and maybe pay attention here and there every once in a while. 2 fusion cores. That's actually kind of interesting. Throughout the majority, I think, of this Enclave playthrough, whenever we've encountered Brotherhood members, they've either had no fusion cores or 2 fusion cores on them. Which is, I mean, I understand the 2 fusion core thing because you want to have a spare, at least one spare, and surely it should be sort of like issued equipment, you know, to keep your whole armor thing running. You should at least get 1 spare fusion core, but no fusion cores. That's some next level stuff. That's I suppose it's sort of the equivalent, but it wouldn't even function in Fallout 4, right? If you have no fusion cores, I don't think it actually functions. Not entirely sure. I always end up with like 50 of them, so haven't actually ever tested out not having any. And so that's oh, that poor armor, poor Brotherhood Knight. That was a nasty shot, but and a nasty fall as well. But I suppose he didn't really mind the fall that much. Yeah, great cover there, mate. But yeah, so I suppose it's maybe sort of the equivalent. Actually, that would have been interesting. That would have been an interesting addition to lore. Like maybe the fusion core sort of replace in Fallout New Vegas, when you had the NCR using sort of like salvaged power armor, which was essentially just extremely heavy because it didn't have the balancing, you know, machinery in it. Whatever, I'm not entirely sure what it's called. But actually, you could have just replaced that with fusion cores. And yeah, making so that if you don't have any fusion cores, it's just extremely heavy. Maybe that's how it already functions. Not entirely sure, obviously, but now that was a little bit okay. So the mission's already glitching out. So I suppose we better call in those reinforcements that the good general promised us. Let's deactivate that. Let's send the all clear to the oil rig, and there we go. There we go. Wasn't responding. I suppose it was loading or something. But okay. It was loading these fellas. Okay, I can clearly see that. It was probably loading the Vtuber that's flying overhead as well. So I suppose, yeah, because this is very much like an old school sort of Call of Duty and Medal of Honor Allied Assault mission, or I suppose any Medal of Honor mission. The old school Medal of Honor games, even Airborne, tended to be sort of like mostly solo missions. You were always in the sort of a position of, well, obviously, of someone who would receive a Medal of Honor for doing like extraordinary deeds and everything. Like this is just this is so epic. Like this, these like little combat sections in this mod, they're so much better than whatever was in vanilla. Whenever like even the maybe actually the assault on the Institute by the Brotherhood, actually that was kind of cool as well, but it was a little bit well, because it was all in an interior, you didn't really appreciate the scale of the whole thing. I mean, this isn't like a large scale, but for a Fallout game, this is actually a pretty decent battle right here we're having. And those turrets are actually lighting me up. Not entirely sure if those are turrets or like Gatling laser wielding Brotherhood members, because those things really hurt, as I said, because we're only wearing essentially heavy armor. We aren't wearing power armor, even though, you know, it sort of looks like power armor from the old Fallout games. It's only heavy armor, and I think the lasers have some sort of like debuff, or actually like extra they do extra damage to it. Not entirely sure. Maybe I'm too weak. But, you know, this character is a little bit overtuned as it is, because I sort of overestimated the difficulty of the mod. I should have maybe gone with like a level maybe 15 character into this. If you really want to have a really good experience, you should probably go with a level 15 character. I went with a level 25 character. Yeah, because I thought, you know, this is going to be extremely difficult. But no, it turns out it's actually sort of just fine. It's just sort of fine. It's not too easy. The beginning part would be a little bit too difficult if you went in. Actually, it's probably fine because I have like this, like all these really good modded and guns and the armor and everything. So maybe if you okay, that was a terrible, and that just did insane amounts of damage. Okay, let's calm down here a little bit. Let's not try to get too hasty. Okay, so maybe it's not just fine as actually, maybe it's not that we're too strong, it's just, you know, it's actually just okay. Okay, so disregard whatever I said beforehand about being overtuned, because that grenade did like 50% of my health, but it was my own grenade, so maybe like some damage multipliers apply. But if I went with like grenade damage, then surely I would have gotten the perk of negating all that. So that's probably not the case, and probably I'm just, you know, really weak towards like laser weaponry and plasma weaponry, essentially energy weapons. I'm just a little too weak against, which I mean, honestly, that's just kind of fine, I suppose. And here we go into the base itself. Now, hopefully you won't face too much I can already see the grenade indicators. This is just like Call of Duty. But hopefully we'll have actually a pretty decent experience here. It's a bit too dark. That's one thing that I actually noticed with this mod, is that the interiors were a bit too dark. And I understand it's Fallout and everything, but obviously this base has been probably used by the Brotherhood, you know, quite a lot. Oh, technical documents. But yeah, it's been used quite a lot by the Brotherhood, and for it to be this dark, that's a bit, you know, that's a bit iffy, I think. Obviously you have like lights and everything, but for example, the bunker in Fallout New Vegas, the Brotherhood bunker in Fallout New Vegas was actually quite well lit. Oh, more technical documents. That's more caps for me. Gonna have to turn all those in at the end. But yeah, for example, yeah, the Brotherhood bunker in Fallout New Vegas was actually relatively, you know, it had decent lighting. It wasn't like too dark, but it still made sense that it wouldn't be like, you know, lit up essentially like, for example, the the Hoover Dam or something like that. So it's something in between. I think something in between would have been fine, because if I wasn't really using the flashlight right here, it would have been a bit annoying. And yeah, it's like even the initial facilities that we had to scour for like the FEV samples and everything, it was, yeah, again, a bit too dark. And well, that's fine when you're dealing with the raiders. Once we entered, for example, the Brotherhood stuff, I think it should have been maybe a little bit more lit up. And here we go, time to light up these Brotherhood members with this. Yeah, this minigun doesn't do a lot of damage, but hey, at least we can damage all of them basically, because we're just spraying with it. Like, damn. That one's actually, like, they're charging me. Like, they're literally banzai charging me. Okay. Now that's, I'm not entirely sure if the Brotherhood is supposed to just banzai charge you. That's not necessarily something that I've seen from previous games, but, okay, maybe it's some new grand strategy. But actually, now that I think about it, isn't, like, the minigun basically one of the standard, like, one of the standard weapons that the Enclave should use? Because a lot of the Enclave members from, for example, Fallout 2 use like very heavy weaponry. So and the power armor was designed to be wielded with like an extremely heavy weapon, right? Like a rocket launcher or laser Gatling gun, or basically a minigun or something like that. So actually maybe I should have been using like a minigun from the beginning, but then again, we aren't exactly using power armor, using heavy armor. So using an assault rifle seems, and assault rifles and some machine guns and stuff like that is actually the more sensible even like lore-wise decision here. But I don't know. It's maybe in the next some sort of like Enclave playthrough you use some sort of heavy weaponry, because it's gonna be probably a little bit better, But then again, as the Enclave, you should probably using like plasma weapons, not necessarily laser weapons. I don't think they use laser weapons that much. They mostly use plasma weapons, if I remember correctly, from like Fallout 3. They always seem to... Actually, I don't remember that well, because the last time I've played like Fallout 3 was like, I don't know, 6 to 7 years ago, because, well, I'm not all that big of a fan when it comes to Fallout 3. I understand it's probably a very decent game in some respects, but, and everything that Fallout 3 does, Fallout 4 is a tiny bit better in the aspects that I think Fallout 3 aimed at, like gunplay and very light role-playing aspects. The, using actually minigun like up close and personal must be such a terrifying thing to do. But yeah, it's I haven't played Fallout 3 in a while, but I think I remember they mostly use plasma weapons and heavy weapons, but and rippers obviously. But I might be wrong about that. Maybe only the officers. And there we go. That's the last. That's the last of them. I think it should be. Yeah, no more enemies on the radar. So our little mission here should be at the end. At an end, basically. The Brotherhood actually uses a lot of laser weapons now that I'm sort of searching them. I suppose that makes sense. But that leads to, outside. So we should probably disable whatever this is, and talk to the people in charge, I think, because target nothing actually comes up. Invalid action during pre-launch phase. Okay, let's just cancel it, and okay. So if we could actually like launch them at something, that would be interesting, but I suppose that would be a little too much to ask for. So okay, let's try and find some people in charge here.
Sergeant.
Hi.
How are things going?
It's encouraging to have the troops here.
I gotta go.
See you around.
You've done well.
Sir.
You've done well, soldier. That missile could have ended everything for us. Dr. Kane's ensuring the missile is offline and no longer a threat to the Enclave. What we've done here today will further solidify our position. Soon we will be ready to strike at the Brotherhood of Steel. If you're done here, we'll head back to the oil rig for a full debriefing.
All right, let's go.
Before we leave, I think it is fitting to promote you to the rank of corporal. You've earned it. Once we've arrived at the oil rig, find Fitzpatrick. He'll have one final reward for you.
Okay, so we've been promoted, and the general's words strongly hint at there being some sort of end game and continuation or something. And I remember from reading like the various comments and reviews, I think there was like a last mission where we actually take out like the Brotherhood Zeppelin, but or the airship or whatever you want to call it. But it well, I don't think it made it into this version of the game, which is quite unfortunate. So so yeah. Actually, let's turn in those technical documents.
Doctor?
Don't forget about those technical documents.
I found some technical documents for you.
These will be very helpful. Thank you.
I found some technical documents for you.
No, these aren't what I need.
What's your story?
My family has a long history in medicine. My great-grandfather was actually quite a famous surgeon. I spent many years studying medical science and chemistry at Princeton before being contacted by... They were in...
Actually, I'll be back later.
All right.
I thought about like learning something about the Doctor, but if you really want to know more about the individual characters, I suggest you download and play this mod for yourself, because what's actually pretty decent. You do gain a good, you know, like base of operations. You do gain a lot of well, equipment here. You obviously gain access to a lot of power armors here, and so so yeah, I think we're gonna see Fitzpatrick and see what the final reward is supposed to be. But I suspect it's going to be something similar to the Brotherhood reward that we usually get.
Sir.
I can't say I expected things to go this way after you thought us out. We're lucky it was you. The General asked me to present you with a reward for all you've done for us. You may have noticed the aircrew have been personalizing their vertebrates recently. Why don't you go have a look at them? And when you see one you like, you can come back to me and I'll see that it's on standby for whenever you need it.
Yeah, this one seems like it's the best. America's Guardian with a big old Enclave trooper there. That's actually pretty decent, kind of cool. The other ones just had some chicks on them, so whatever. That's not the Enclave style. So yeah, I think we just like pick them, right? Yeah, there we go. America's Guardian. There we go. And yeah, if we ever are in the wasteland, we can just call on a bunch of Enclave troopers, and they'll just come in to support us. So that was the last episode. I'm sure there's a whole lot of side content here yet to be discovered, or at least I think there is. There might be, there might be not. I think that the developers are actually working on sort of an updated version right now, so you know, be on the lookout for that if you really enjoyed the mod. But as always, thanks Kings for watching, and if you enjoyed this Enclave series, make sure to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and be on the lookout, because we might be going back to some Enclave content in some previous Fallout games, and that's going to be quite the doozy, because there's a lot of Enclave content in the Fallout world, and well, the Enclave's so interesting that we're gonna just have to look through all of it. So again, thanks Kings for watching, and see you next time.